Chris Yandex, CYInterview, covering Las Vegas and the world. Today we welcome back one of our favorite guests. We welcome back dancer, choreographer, and Las Vegas show producer, Lindsley Allen. Those of you who were in the Las Vegas entertainment scene for a long time and have followed the shows here in Vegas, remember Cherry Boom Boom from a few years ago. She's the visionary behind that. She's back with us to talk about everything going on in her life today. Lindsley, it's always so nice to see you. Thank you for being on CYInterview. How are you?
So great to see you, Chris. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm good. I'm good. Things have been busy.
Well, you have a lot of things going on and you have a storied career in entertainment, so I would always expect something going on with you. So why don't we just start with this? October 2nd to the 4th, Welcome to the Jungle 2. What is that for people interested?
That is the Boom Effect, which is the Cherry Boom Boom training program. So especially when the show was in Las Vegas, in LA as well, I had dancers, performers, artists all the time ask me, how can I be in the show? How can I audition for the show? How can I dance and be like the performers and the dancers that are in your show? So I created the training program. It's a 3-day intensive because it was being requested by dancers and performers and artists. And it's really unique in that way that I do the thing that made Cherry Boom Boom stand out and its dancers stand out and its genre is that I combine the style, the commedia dell'arte, the viewpoints with choreography, with apparatus, and I always have a special guest choreographer. So we have the theatrical classes, then we have the choreography, and then we do a video shoot, which is so great for people to have to put on their reel or put on their page or whatever they want to do with it. So it's a great opportunity in so many ways.
And give the website where people can find out the information for that.
Yeah, it's October 2nd to the 4th, like you said, and you can either go to my Instagram, the link is in my bio, or you can go to my page, lindsleyalan.com, and look under intensive. You can go to Cherry Boom Boom, and there's a link, intensive. So there's a couple ways to find it. But I think Instagram in my profile is probably the quickest, the easiest way to sign up. And we do limit the space because I like to work more with smaller groups and be able to work one-on-one, have a knack for helping dancers turn into dance artists instead of just doing, it's not just about the steps, it's not just about the choreography. Like, as you know, when you saw Cherry Boom Boom, it has that visceral effect, right? We break the fourth wall. So it's really leaving with an experience. And I have to say, like, all the dancers that have taken my Boom Effect or that I've worked with, their careers have just seemed to fly afterwards because it's just that edge that they need to like really connect to the audience, really connect to themselves authentically, then connect to the audience and really share that fire on the inside out, you know, and that instead of performing, it's giving an experience for the audience.
Makes all the sense in the world. So speaking of Las Vegas shows today, the Empire Strip's back, one of the newer shows at the Rio Hotel and Casino. You had a little input in that. Tell me about that.
Yes, I did. So I knew David Foster when we were in, who was the producer, when we were in Las Vegas, and we would just connect and talk all the time. He loved Cherry Boom Boom. I loved the show that he was doing at the time, and since they broke off and the entertainment company that he was with, they decided to do Empire Strips Back. And so he would call me and say, you know, can you recommend dancers? Can you help us with casting? We're coming to Los Angeles. We're going to do a tour all around the United States. We love Cherry Boom Boom. We love the quality of your dancers. So I did casting for them for a while. I did casting when they did the whole tour around the United States, did casting when they did the Paris show, and then helped them do casting in the Los Angeles and the Las Vegas, the current residency that they have right now. And there were quite a few dancers from the Boom Effect that are in the show, either in Las Vegas or from the tour. And then actually one of the Cherry Boom Boom dancers, I think right now, is performing in the show. So, yeah, it was nice to do casting for them. It was fun. It was a good time.
Some of these dance companies like yours, I guess you could call them, groups, shows, productions, are doing what we like to call right now in Las Vegas mini residencies where they come a couple times a year for maybe a weekend. Any chance that you could ever get the girls back together for Boom Boom in Vegas?
I love that idea. I wasn't even really aware of that with the mini residencies, but that is a great idea. And we definitely would be open to it. I know there's been a lot of requests for it. And I last year took a break. There was a lot going on personally. And I actually got cast in a show. And so I was doing a show. So I just really didn't have the time or the funding to do like a full show. But I love that idea of a mini residency. And I would love to hear more about that for sure, because right when COVID hit, Boom Boom was booming. It was booming. And we were actually looking for a bigger space to expand the show. And then COVID kind of shut everything down, as you know, as it did. So we would love to come back.
I'll talk with you about it after the CY
Yeah.
interview today and give you all the details. But yeah, there's a lot of these productions that come like 5 or 6 times a year, and they come for like 2 shows on a Friday and Saturday, and that's what they're doing now, a lot of them.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Plenty of dancers too that I know in Vegas from working in Vegas. I really, really loved the community, the performers and the dancers and the aerialist and all the apparatus. It was a great experience, sort of like a little treasure chest of great art and community and people to work with. It was so fun and so creative and so rewarding.
So do you think in general, looking back on that experience, that it was probably one of the times in your career where you had the most freedom in your creativity?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I guess in a way, yes. In a way for sure. I mean, there's always, when there's money involved in a certain schedule and a calendar, there's definitely certain parameters that you have to work around. But in the way of, it was my vision that I created Cherry Boom Boom, and people saw it and said, well, we love this, and here's a space to do it in. And I got to pick my team, my choreographers. I got to do the casting. It was really, yes, I would say one of the biggest moments that I got to have a lot of control creatively. Yeah.
I could tell. I could tell that I could just tell when we were at the shows back, back at the Hooters and the OYO. I just could remember that you were just spot on with everything going on. You could tell.
Yeah, a little particular and specific, and yeah, making sure, a little bit of a perfectionist for sure. But it was, yeah, it's kind of a dream come true, really, to be able to do that. And it really was. I mean,
It
I
was a dream
never,
come true it was a dream come
literally.
true to witness it from you.
Oh, it was, something here that I created in Los Angeles and then ended up getting, a huge deal at the Tropicana when the Tropicana was there. And so going from a, burlesque show, and it was sort of the first kind of rock and roll, Americana show too. So it really stood out. A lot of press here in Los Angeles, which led to the journey going to Las Vegas, which didn't happen quickly. It definitely was a lot of hard work, but it ended up being probably bigger than what I even expected, so it was literally a dream come true.
No denying that. So let's talk general dance questions there, because we're going to post this out to a lot of different dance communities. Do you think social media has made it easier or harder for dancers to build their careers?
That is such a good question, and something that I talk about with my colleagues all the time, because there's definitely pros and cons to it. Like I was saying, when I was doing casting for Empire Strips Back, we had to do a lot of casting through social media, and now social media in the positive way has become like a visual resume for dancers. So when we had to cast shows very quickly and for different cities, that was helpful. But the other side of it, the con side of it, is that you're not in the room with dancers when you're auditioning. And actually, I personally feel like being in the room with dancers is such a better way to audition, because you get to really see them, meet them, feel that energy. A lot of things happen in the moment, like improv, and it's just a different, you get that human connection that you don't quite get through social media when you're casting. So I know that self-tape is just the way that it is now, and it's the way that things have to happen. But I think that something is lost, especially with dance, that kind of art form, about being really in the space, in the room together, So, yeah, pros and cons.
What do you think is the biggest mistake that young dancers are making today?
I think this, and this is another topic that I talk about with my colleagues all the time. I teach all over the country with Hollywood Connection, Dance Convention Tour, and we always talk about, again, that process because, the pro of social media is that you get to show a lot off. A lot of people get to show their work, which is so great. They're doing videos. They get to put out there in public who they are, which is fantastic. But I hope that, and the problem with some of that is that what we're noticing is losing the process and the journey and the creativeness and the artistic, like some of the technique is gone. Some of the real process of being a real dance artist is some of the steps are being missed along the way. And so we just feel like we want dancers to still train in the studio, still, go across the floor, still work it out in the studio before the cameras are on. Really focus on the technique, really focus on your training and the process and digging in a little bit deeper, being in touch with your artistic side before you're worried about the result. You know what I mean? Because when you start to dig in deeper artistically, you discover things. And if you're so worried about the result all the time, it's just polished. And so much of the magic happens when we're not looking for that polished result. You're just in the moment. So I think keeping the cameras for maybe the end or certain date, for, certain time, or maybe not every class, really keeping studio time sacred in the way of a process of learning dance and the art form, being true to it.
Do you think the problem, though, is that you come from a very serious generation of talent? I do too, in our respective industries, and these younger people don't know anything pre-internet. And do you think there's just so much pressure to post things on the internet?
I do. I mean, that's the thing. I think that is pros and cons because I think you do have to be out there on social media. You do have to have a public visual page, Instagram page. But at the same time, I think that is the problem. And again, I talk about all the time with my colleagues, the work ethic. We're feeling like the work ethic is missing because we came from that generation where we really did have to be in the studio and work the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, had so much respect for people that were ahead of us, paid our dues, as they say. So it's just, how can we blend those two things? And I think that that's starting to happen because we have the conversations, even with younger dancers nowadays are talking about, putting the phone away and being in the process. And so many of them love the boom effect because that first day that we get into the authentic style part, the theatrical training, the mirrors are not there. You're very naked emotionally. You really come from this space of inside out. And so it asks you to take away that crutch of a camera or what it looks like and come from a place that in the end, you're going to get so much more out of anyway. So I think we're trying to find the balance, it seems like. What worked in those, as they call old school, and what's working currently, because obviously currently is so brilliant and amazing as well. But how can we keep going forward and not lose the real value of what we need to take with us, I think is the question, right?
I agree with that 100%. So let's look forward, just backwards, but let's look forward. The Pussycat Dolls have had a bit of a resurgence in the media over the last year. How does it make you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been talking with Rob a lot and with Joey and Carla, the original OGs from the Viper Room, the founding members, and Robin Anton is the creator. And it's been so great because it's reconnected us again. And we always say once a doll, always a doll. So we've been really proud of it. I mean, you just have to be. It's lasted for so long. And there has been a lot of versions of it and a lot of people that have come and gone. And it's just really great to see it taking off. And it's a whole new way, a whole new thing. A lot of people are involved in those kind of decisions. I'm not involved in those kind of decisions anymore at all. But I'm just proud of it because we put that work down in the very beginning, that fundamental work when we were at the Viper Room paying our dues before. If we would have had social media then, we didn't have social media then, right? There's so much footage that's the thing. I wish I had social media then because there's a lot of shows and moments that we don't have, to look back on. So what I do have from that, I really cherish. But what a great time. We were trailblazing, and it's still here today, 30 years later. I'm proud of it.
Could you tell me one moment during that time that you experienced firsthand that fans would never know about?
Oh my gosh, so much. Oh, there's so many things that happened along the way, especially in the very beginning. I mean, probably the one that pops out immediately is the very kind of like discovery moment of it. We got a chance to perform at the Viper Room, and there weren't dance shows happening then. There were only amazing bands, the grunge 90 bands that were happening at that time, Stone Temple Pilots, and very cool space. Johnny Depp owned the spot. And I just remember us opening for Beverly D'Angelo, and it was Robin, Carla, Joey, and I. And it was just a little 15-minute show. And I'll never forget, like, the door opening and seeing, like, there was a couple guys were Depp there on the stage dancing. A couple guys walked in, and I was thinking, is that Johnny Depp? I'm not sure what's happening. I'm still going to, do my choreography. I'm rehearsing. And I just remember him being up in the lighting booth. And I was like, this is so surreal right now, but I have a job to do. So I'm like rehearsing the show. And then afterwards he came down and he was like, what is this? This is so cool. Like, this is very old school, but new. And we need to give you guys a residency a night. So once a month we performed at the Viper Room, and that's how we grew our public name. And that's how the show grew, because really it was Johnny Depp that discovered the Pussycat Dolls. And it was it's a moment that's like, yeah, it just was like one of those divine timing things. Like, it just happened to be that he was there in the space. He didn't see a video of us. He saw us live rehearsing, and he just was like, this, I've never seen anything like this before. Like, this is so cool.
How does it feel to be one of the original cast members?
I mean, when I think back about it now, it's so wild, because it's one of those things that, again, became so much bigger than I think any of us ever imagined. I mean, Robin definitely had the vision for Pussycat Dolls and the show that we wanted to do. But when it developed into a singing group, that wasn't in any of our minds at all. I mean, we actually had choreographed this Smooth Operator. Rob and I had choreographed this number with this microphone, and I was like, it was kind of like the Lemon Sisters, and we had on like these little outfits with little hats, and we kind of lip sync with the microphone and did choreography. And it's one of the things that kind of led to them saying, oh, wow, they could be a singing group. Why don't they really sing? I mean, of course, Carmit sings, Stacy sang too, but it wasn't like a big part of the show. We had some singers in the show at the Roxy, and people, Gwen Stefani came, and Carmen Electra came. But I think the idea of it switching into a pop group and what it became was so much bigger than any of us could have ever imagined.
Oh, I agree with you. So in closing, since we last spoke, what would I be most surprised that's happened in your life in the last like 5 or 6 years?
Well, I was surprised. I got a phone call from this show called Oh Mama, and it's from the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, a huge nonprofit charity. And they called and said they wanted to cast me in their show, and they were actually casting. Okay, so let me back up. There's a cast of like 14 dancers, and then they wanted like 5 of us from Prince, the dancers that worked with Prince. There were other dancers as well, but there were 5 of us, featured dancers, and then Kylie Love from RuPaul's Drag Race. And they called, because I was Darling Nikki. I danced with Prince for 5 years and was Darling Nikki. And they called and said, we would love to cast you in the show. It's a mix of Mamma Mia and Burlesque, and it's a new show called Oh Mama. And I hadn't been on stage in many years. So it was flattering, but I was also a little bit taken back, like, oh my goodness. And then I just thought, you know what? Who knows if I'll ever have this opportunity to do it again. So I said yes. It was like, of course, I'm going to say yes, which is one of the reasons I haven't been able to focus on getting Cherry Boom Boom back to Vegas, because I've been performing myself. So we've done a 3-year contract. We've done 2 years already. There's 1 more year left of Oh Mama. And I guess the biggest surprise to the audience and to myself is that I've been back on stage again. And it's been kind of a great, great, fun experience. Especially being on stage with that chemistry that happened with, there's 5 of us that worked with Prince, and we hadn't been on stage together in over, 15, 20 years. And so coming back together on stage together, it was really special, very special.
Did you know any of those other people?
Yes. Yeah, I knew them because we had worked together with Prince. So we had all known each other, but a few of us had maybe not spoken in 10 years because people went off and, did other things in their lives. And it was really fun to be back on stage together. And it was really smart of AIDS Healthcare that did the show called Oh Mama, because it was smart of them to bring us back together. They wanted a full demographic. So they have younger dancers, they have the featured dancers, they have Kylie Love. So there was someone for everyone. And just knowing that they were going to bring us back together with the chemistry to make us feel like really comfortable and really special. And the audience went wild because it's like Mamma Mia music and Prince music. And we worked with them. And it was just a really smart, fun, creative choice that they did on their part. And it was really special being back together again,
What's your favorite Prince story in closing? Last question.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I just think there's so many, but probably rehearsing at Paisley Park. Like literally, I remember literally kind of pinching myself when we were standing around the microphone. We had matinee shows and we would sing Raspberry Beret, and we were downstairs like in his recording studio room. And I just had this like out of body experience kind of. And I remember feeling like, just pinch yourself. Like this is something that happens once in a lifetime, and even at that moment, I had no idea how much bigger it was than myself, since he's not here anymore. And like, what a special opportunity that we got to be in his orb. And I learned so much from him. I mean, he was so incredible, so amazing. He pushed us to our limit. Like when I talk about a lot of things I learned from him, I teach at the Boom Effect. And it was such a great learning experience, and challenging and fun and creative and amazing and all the things that you think of him. And once in a lifetime. So I just remember being like, wow, this is a moment that I can't really believe is happening, but it's happening.
Well said. Again, October 2nd through the 4th, welcome to the Jungle 2. Learn from the great Lindsley Allen. Improve your dance skills. All the dancers who are watching this out here. Links down in the description below to Lindsley's website, Cherry Boom Boom, and her Instagram, so you can find out more information. As always, Lindsley, it's so great to see you, and it was so nice catching up with you on CYInterview today. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Chris, thank you so much. So great to see you, and congratulations on everything in your life, too.
Appreciate you.